Our program, about 85% of our children get childcare assistance through the CCAP program. The School Readiness Connection program that we were part of, the pilot that we were part of, was very helpful to us in that the biggest problem with keeping kids and getting kids in the door is child care assistance program, whether it's getting the funding started, whether it's keeping the funding going, breaks in the funding. The truth is, part of why I'm here today is because we very much struggle with providing access to kids. We lose kids all the time to circumstances that should be keeping them at our center. I just got an email last night from a mother who had to go into treatment, and her 2 kids are with sister, and now they're not coming. The life circumstances that brought her to that point were traumatic for the kids. They had to witness violence in the home. I mean, things where they had consistency with our program and with our teachers, and that gets pulled out right from underneath them because child care assistance is no longer there because mother no longer has custody of her children. So as long as the money in our programs are following parents and not the children, we will continue to struggle, I'm sure, with having that continued access. And that has been we've gone through Parent Aware and got our 4-star rating. We've gone through accreditation. We have a great center. The children that come to our center get really quality care and education. But if they're not coming, we can't do a thing for them. So this question of how do we work on access, I mean, we do what we can. We work on parenting outreach and those things that keep people attending on a regular basis where they have some control. But the biggest struggles we face are areas where there is no control. And now that the school readiness pilot is finished, and that really did help. That we saw where it made a difference in terms of children, if things were happening in the home, where they were able to continue. If a job was lost and there was a transition, they were able to continue through that. If it was, parents were in school and it was summer, they were able to continue through that. And so that was one way that we were able to continue with providing access. But with that being gone, it is now a pretty big struggle. So I will continue to advocate in any way that I can, that as we look at funding and we look at quality, that we cannot just speak to how we improve the quality, because we cannot do anything with kids that aren't there. And that is a big piece of why I'm here today. And part of what the School Readiness Connections was able to do is to help some of that money follow the kid a little bit better. And that is, as far as from where I'm sitting, is the biggest obstacle that we face in terms of getting kids in the door and staying in the door at our center. Having said that, I think it's really important as we're looking at the bigger picture of not just our early learning center and the programs that we provide in our center. The cultural piece is a huge one that I face on a regular basis. I'm working in the Native American community primarily. The families we're serving are Native American. And a lot of them, and this varies over time, a lot of them are receiving services at other programs in our agency. The folks that come in and are receiving other services, a lot of times their kids might be getting additional services as well, depending on what's going on. Obviously, if they're working with our ICWA provider in child protection, those kids might already have a few other things going on that they're getting services through. And on the other hand, a lot of our families coming in the door are not getting other services. They're coming to us because we're a community child care center that's culturally responsive to the Native American community. And we do run into a lot of difficulties and obstacles getting additional services for those children if they're not services that we provide within our center. So if we're seeing additional needs, if we're doing screenings and there's red flags, and we are hoping that parent can, and trying to work with that parent to get additional services, that can be a real struggle in our community. There's a lot of distrust. There's a lot of history there. And whether you're working with the school system in early childhood special ed, or whether you're working with other community providers, there's quite a bit of pushback that we face. So getting wraparound services, those are some of the struggles I see in terms of continuing to keep kids in our center. The biggest piece is because the majority of our children do receive child care assistance, and those that aren't are on the waiting list. We have a couple of private pay people, a handful in our whole center. Otherwise, they're either stuck on a waiting list somewhere or they're receiving child care assistance. So they're at the mercy of absence days, and that's, that's going to go down to 10 in 2013, I believe is when it starts. If anything goes wrong in their lives and they lose their job, there goes a child care. So that's definitely, the biggest obstacle that I face. And in terms of the other pieces, some of the things that we obviously try to do is work with parents, including parents in parenting groups, and making sure that they're a big piece of our policy review and our programming. One of the things that we do is we use our ASQ and ASQSE, the assess screening tools, and we use those in part because it's usually the parents are usually doing it, and that is key in our community, because if the parents can see the need of their child needing additional services, that's half the battle, and that's not us trying to convince them of something that they might be reluctant to join in on.